Hey! Wow, I feel like an kind of an artist. Yeah, thanks for having me. This is my first kind of speech or talking in front of an audience in English. I started to speak like 6 or 7 years ago, doing like lectures in Swedish, and I did that mainly because I was afraid of standing on a stage and speaking to people. And I really like shit my pants the first couple of times, which kind of like I feel today actually as well. I'm gonna start by telling a little bit about my background. If you have any questions on any type of subject revolving that. So I guess we take the questions afterwards. Yeah? Okay, so when I was 12 years old, I was singing in a punk band called Gräslök ger dålig andedräkt. And yeah. I think that's chives gets you a really bad breath, something like that. We were actually touring a bit with that Swedish punk band. I had like needles in my cheeks, spikes, and all the accessories, which you might see in me today as well. When I was like 14, I sang in a band called Now or Never. In the hardcore scene, kind of the straight edge vegan hardcore scene in Sweden. I had a fanzine and a small label, and I released a few vinyl records and distributed my fanzines in hardcore scenes around the world. And I think it was when I was 16, I started to book bands like Marco Ramone for Ramones and Dark Funeral and like 40 other bands. So my whole room at home was filled with posters, and at that time, very long time ago, I was sending out my roster through a fax machine. Yeah, that's the email 20 years back. What I really loved already at that time, booking bands, which I still love, is the feeling of evolving careers or evolving something to grow from like one show to a Swedish tour to a Nordic tour to a European tour, and in some cases also US tours at that time. When I was like 18, I took some money I made and invested in a demo with a band called Division of Loreley. I paid Kalle Gustafsson in Soundtrack of Our Lives to be happy enough to record an like 5-track EP with this band. And they got a record deal with Burning Heart Records and Epitaph in the US. And I maybe had more like urge for knowledge about running the business than they have. So I was suddenly the manager of this band going to the US as a part of the kind of Swedish invasion of indie bands going there at that time. They were of course like going from selling 100 tickets a night to selling 600-700 tickets in the US, and suddenly a lot of managers there locally started to approach them about, sign with us and we're gonna do you very successful, whatever. So I didn't really know what to do because I was kind of losing my band that I've really invested time in. So I approached a guy in Gothenburg, running kind of the biggest management company in Sweden, and asked for his help. Like, what do I do? Like, I need help with managing. I had like mentors to help me doing deals or like negotiate or stuff I had, but I really felt that I had wanted a closer relationship with someone. And I came there to kind of show how I worked and asked a bunch of questions about this band, and in like 2 weeks I got an employment at this company, and I worked the reunion of Turbo Negro, the Motorhomes, and the Haunted, and a few other bands. Stayed there for like 1.5 years. Started my own business, starting to manage Mustache and Hammerfall, Deb April, and a few other acts. And yeah, you probably told the background already, I guess. Yeah, okay. And 2010, I started the Getaway Rock Festival, which is a rock festival like 170 kilometers from Stockholm. It became, I think, like the 3rd biggest rock festival in Sweden. It was the most expensive hobby I ever had. So whatever money I made from managing bands, I was like totally fucking bankrupt with that hobby. Lost, yeah, like 5 million in 2 years actually. And in these 2 years, we came to a conclusion with FKP Scorpio, who bought like Halsfred and started Bråvalla, and to take that festival over. And at the same time, I started working for Warner Music as their head of 360, where I met you, Felicia. Yeah. I did that for a couple of years and had the first export success with a band called No 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 and a song called Pumping Blood, which sold like a million singles or something. And that's kind of the start of me solely exporting music for Warner, and going from doing that for the Swedish office, I now do that for all Nordic talent. So if you have any tough questions on that, feel free. Shit, I should never said that. So yeah, I really want to. I could talk about like how I experienced launching an artist in another country, and I might talk a little bit about that. But I really want to hopefully inspire or give some of my knowledge throughout the years on gaining some self-confidence in what you're doing, and kind of tools that I worked with to feel that. And one thing that that's been like super key for me all the time, like when I started managing bands, I had read these management by fear books, and all these like American big managers that hold people outside of windows and threaten to kill people. And I thought that was the way. Hate record companies, and like I basically called our partners and said like, fuck off, you just do a crap job and you should do this and this and this. But during time I got mentors, and I got to understand that it's all about mentoring. Find people that has knowledge in select parts, and try to get as much knowledge as possible to what you want to achieve. And through mentoring, basically having the chance to ask people for help in all of the parts that I didn't really know or could really like read myself to, it really helped me to understand and evolve a lot, and also evolve the business of my clients. So I could really, that's a big, that's a good tip, I think. Tip, that's like dricks. Sorry. Yeah, you got it on film. I've always been obsessed by learning stuff. I've always felt like humble to other people's knowledge even if the title of my speech today was Become Successful, I think. It's like, wow, humble guy. No, I've really been obsessed with learning more stuff, and instead of me trying to like pretend I know everything, I find it more strengthening to really admit that I don't know everything. And like by me in my job at the moment, like if I go to Germany and meet the team there several times, I will get to know much more about the German market. So in the second run, I would know what to ask for. I would know how their maybe like radio climate works or how their market works, and I would know how to kind of start in the market instead of me kind of pretending that I know everything about all markets. Like, you should really like focus on this song or this artist is gonna blow up for you, but I should know that, you know, maybe this song isn't like suitable to start in such market. So gaining so much knowledge as you possibly can to go forward is it has been a super key thing for me. And one other thing I also want to say, like often these days, a lot of people, you know, comes to a new work or comes to a new situation, and people kind of announce what their end goal is. It's like you come into the work, and you're gonna start as a junior promotion or like your first job on a record company or whatever company really. And like, yeah, so what's your vision or whatever? Well, I don't want to do this. I want to be the CEO. That's a very common kind of like announcement or how it sounds a lot. But I think that people tend to forget that if you want to go from like A to Z, you got to do a lot of things on the way. And if you do A, B, C, D, and E, and F, and all the other stuff on the way, it will get you much more knowledge. And with that knowledge, you're going to be much more self-confident. Like, yeah, I thought I was going to be more nervous to talk today in English, but if I've done, like the first time I spoke in Swedish, I was peeing my pants, and the second time I peed just a little bit less. And after like 20 times, I felt kind of comfortable. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But yeah, I want to say that yeah, experience builds confidence. That's what I want to say. And it's not easy to kind of feel that confidence, like coming into a room with, I mean, many of you are probably established songwriters and professional artists or like, I don't know, like all. But coming into a room with other writers, if you do that a lot, you will be much more confident in doing that. If you stand on a stage 40 times, you're going to be much more confident in that. And all of the stuff you do while doing what you do is going to make you much more confident in the stuff you do. And I will, or anybody would totally believe you when you believe that. That sounded kind of deep. But I truly believe in that. Like, if I'm really have a lot of knowledge about an artist and I go to China to meet the Chinese Warner team, if I'm kind of confident about what this artist is and what it's about and knows a lot of stuff about it, I could really like talk about it with passion and make them feel the passion to invest in the artist I'm coming with. Instead of yeah, some emails I would get from people pitching songs like, hey, here's my song. You know, I wish I had another vocalist on it. You know, and next time the guitar player should play good guitar. And like, yeah, but you know, you should feel that before you maybe, yeah, approach about it and feel more confident about what you're selling. One other thing is defining goals. I went like all of my life just having the urge and the feeling to evolve and kind of be successful with stuff, but I never really kind of set goals. And I was thinking, like, what if you define your goals, like a songwriter or like an artist, or I want to do a Nordic tour, and you never played a show. You know, one goal could be like, in 3 months, I want to play in Stockholm. And in 8 months, I want to play in Stockholm again. But that time, I want 150 people to show up. So how would you get 150 people to that show? How many like organic Facebook likes? How much interaction do you need in social medias to attract 150 people in Stockholm? And maybe like in like 1.5 years, you said like, then I should have played in Gothenburg or Malmö or other cities in Sweden, and in 2 years I'm going to do my first Nordic tour. Define these goals to really find motivation and work towards these goals. I had a personal coach like 2 years ago, I think. I paid a woman a lot of money to oh, sorry, that sounded bad. And oh, wow. Shit. Censor. No, I couldn't like get my life together. I was like in these like constant meetings. I had a problematic private life. Like everything was just like work and shit. And she really helped me sort my life and set up goals. And I have this like map of goals right beside my bed that I need to look at every day to see where I'm going and the process of going there, because the week I don't look at that, I don't do anything. I watch Netflix. Sorry for reading my notes. What should I talk about? I spend a lot of time. Am I hearing? Yeah, I spend a lot of time kind of making visions for stuff, and this kind of fell off.
Sorry. Just put it in your face.
Wow, that felt like kung fu training. No, I think it's very important to visualize where you want to go, and not really be like obstructed by smaller goals. I think you can like think bigger. I think I don't know. In that sense, I really love the American rhetorics. You know, like becoming whatever you want. I've always believed that you can become whatever you want. Or like my mom always said, yeah, son, you should get a proper education, get a real job. And I was making a living out of music from the year of like 19, and in 2008 I won my first Grammy with one of my clients, and I actually that year did like the first lecture in Swedish. And that's the year my mom said like, wow, son, you actually have a job. So, yeah. Another thing I want to, I'm just saying these advices. Another thing is to really dare to connect with people. and not be afraid of calling people and emailing people and asking people out for lunches. Or, most people around are really like helpful to engage in mentoring or helping or answering questions, or be of help. Because I think most people that are in the industry, or most people like established artists, had these persons. So I think a lot of these persons wants to be that kind of helping person and get the inspiration of seeing people evolve. Like, I think it's super cool to have lunch with people and see the evolvement of what an advice could get and stuff like that. And I think it's really similar to a date. Like, you're really hot on someone. Like, wow, yeah, should ask her or him out on a date. And what's the worst thing that could happen? It's no. Like, I don't want to go on a date. What? Yeah. Stole that one. No. Fuck. No, really. It's like, of course, maybe some people in the industry doesn't answer all the time, including me. And I think, but someday they will answer, and someday people will accept to go to a lunch and get you some advice or like trade knowledge and information. And I think people should do that way more often. Actually, on my Swedish lecture, I usually like write my email address up, and it's actually very rare that people connect. Like, even if my whole lecture is about connecting, it's very, very rare. Yeah. I think I had like 3 lunches with people the last year or something. How long have I been speaking? For a long time, I think. Yeah? Okay. So I got you some homework. So when you come home tonight or after the clubbing or wherever you're going to go, write down 5 great things about yourself on a note. That's one thing. I want to excite you about, write down your visions. Like, what's your goals in 1, 2, and 5 years? Yeah. Another thing I think people tend to forget is how many people you actually know. Like, if I had this lecture with including a workshop, and I said like, yeah, how's your network looking like? Like, I'm an aspiring songwriter, or I'm an aspiring artist, or I'm aspiring whatever in the creative world. And most people would say that they are not associated with a lot of people. A very good thing is to really define your network and write it down. Like, who do I meet, or who do I know that knows someone? And if you make that list's gonna be much bigger than you actually think. You kind of think, like, scroll your phone, like, oh, no. But when you really look at it, who you could connect with, it's like amazing. Yeah? Sorry for not talking so much about marketing music in China and all other countries I work with. So I think do have time for some question, maybe? Oh, I said it all. Thank you. That was good. Yeah, sorry.
You have mentioned when you started your career as a event management that you have made some loss in it. So how did you come by those lost, and are you considering yourself a good event manager right now nowadays? Are you not making those lost nowadays?
Oh yeah.
What were the things? I mean,
You mean yeah? I did a big lost on the festival. Yeah, I think the festival I lost a lot of money, but I have a friend who lost even more money. Yeah. Yeah, I basically lost all I had, and he lost a little bit of what he had. I think it was a crazy idea, and I'm kind of crazy. So if I want to do something, I don't care what whoever says. Like if I want to, I had a dream about doing a festival. Let's do a fucking festival. And let's find a place, and we find a place, and we promoted a festival which attracted like 10,000 people. And obviously we're gonna lose money because we didn't know everything about the like event planning and how much a table costs to rent for a festival, or like how much money 170 toilets costs. You know, we were thinking more like the billing and the hotels and stuff like that. So I think first year we lost a lot of money, and next year it was actually looking really good. And the budget was, if it was the same walk-up as year one, we would have made money. The sad thing, it was not 1,700 coming walk-up the year two, it was 70. Yeah. So I think up to like Friday, I was like, yes, fuck, we're gonna make it. Sunday morning, oh fuck. Do I need to sell my house, my car? You know, what am I gonna tell my, at that time, wife? Like, yeah, I loaned a couple of millions, you know, yeah. Sorry. Someone here have a...
Would you do it again?
It was actually super fun. It was really cool. It was a really fun experience, and for me it was very, very evolving to see how I kind of could like manage 250 people and like get this shit together. That was super cool. I would probably do a festival again if I had like severe amounts of money. Like, yeah. Like if I were ready to lose like 20 millions in 5 years, I would do a festival. If I had another 20 million to do some fun with as well. But I wouldn't risk my whole business again to an event. And I think at the time of doing the festival, we didn't have much money for marketing, so we placed me in the kind of center to talk about the festival in local media, and I talked a lot about the festival. And like on the Friday entertainment news in the papers, it was like interviews and stuff to promote the festival. But I think the problem appears when you get into a little bit of trouble. Year two, media wants to cherish you, but they are also kind of keen to kill you. And that was very hard to kind of like, get out of. I'm really honest today. Yeah, sorry.
This might not be very related to what you've been talking about, but...
Hi, Malky.
Hello.
Hi. What I was thinking about was more because you've worked with a lot of artists, and I'm sure there are a lot of very talented people here today. One thing that you might not think about until it's too late, I guess, is the legal aspect of protecting not just your music, but your brand itself. And what I've been thinking about is there a point today to allowing to allowing a certain level of infringement, allowing a certain level of maybe piracy of your brand, just to allow that artist to grow? Just looking at you, looking at the company you work with, would you allow companies, people, whatever? I'm not saying I'm for. I'm just saying, do you look the other way just to let that artist grow, or do you go after everything? Like, are you very strict in protection?
No, I think we all kind of need the hype of the freedom in some, to some extent, or using services that's been free, because everybody could consume this to like enter hype machine #1s, or whatever you need to market a song. So I guess a lot of people, including me, is doing a bit of this. And I think the other problem with registering trademarks and stuff like that is so expensive. And you could register like a company in Sweden, and you own the name as a company in the Stockholm's län. But if you actually want to make a trademark of that globally, to attach to X amounts of products, it's like you need to be a millionaire before you get the millions, maybe. Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Oh, that was.
What would be like your top 5 steps about marketing your record?
Oh, okay. In general, or in okay. That's a pretty broad question, I think. I mean, I think it depends on what kind of music it is. I think it's always very, very key to find the initial ambassadors of a record, and hopefully these ambassadors are people that other people listens to. Like a small blog, as an example. In real life, the blog maybe have like 500 visitors or readers, but these 500 are influencing 1 million people, as it's considered a cool blog, or a blog with the right profile, or like people on certain events liking a record. I think it's key to marketing wise, to find the key people and the kind of core audience to grow from that. And sometimes a lot of the labels, including what I do, you send a message to a big bunch of people, and after a few days or weeks or months, you do analyze what are the key people, because sometimes you could think this is definitely a male 40 to 60 years record. And then you send it out to everybody, and it's a female target group, 12 to 18. Yeah, that's probably extreme. But finding really the first key people, and market it really, really hard, I think. Do a lot of work to make people. I don't actually believe in the saying that I want people to find my music. People will not find your music. People will find it because you show it to them. That's that's something that irritates me. Even if it's like a very small target group or whatever target it is, you need to be exposed in that environment for people to find it. Because if you just put a song up, it's really rare that it just blow up in a segment without nobody knowing about it. I could talk for hours about that.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question.
Okay. Ooh.
So you were talking a lot about gathering knowledge But is there anything you'd recommend to study if you'd like to work with it? Well, music management or artist and representation or something like that.
Yeah, I'm on a board of a school actually. So I recommend DMG, online education in music business. I mean, I think in general it's good to get a little bit of knowledge in like negotiation, marketing, social media. And if you, I don't think it's like, I don't think you can study something and then just walk out and do the whole thing, because you got to add up a lot of a lot of work in getting to learn much more about it, get the kind of confidence to talk about anything in front of an artist, or in my case, talk myself out of it in as good a way as possible. No, but I think the combination of studying something, but also like really engage in getting more knowledge on your own is really the key thing. And it's really, really hard to have like a normal. I'm not saying you need to quit your life, but it's really, really hard to, you know, do all of the stuff that a lot of people do, like going to a 9-to-5 job, going home and cook dinner and then watch Netflix series for 6 hours and then go to bed. You need to kind of use and absorb all of your time to engage in being successful at what you do. Not that I had coffee with friends, but not as much as most people I hang out with. Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.